I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but why are Australians, of all people, of all nationalities, of all societies, marching against immigration? Sorry. Yeah, yeah, you want to take back Australia from people coming from overseas. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where was your great grandfather from? I'm sorry. Genuinely, it is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. This guy, who's the let 1,000 blossoms bloom as far as I'm concerned, that guy, he threatened a journalist the other day for suggesting that he has Lebanese heritage, which he may or may not do, I don't know. But it doesn't really matter, brother. You're a white Australian. Your ancestors are from Hackney. Sea of crusty white faces in the crowd who are chanting against immigration. Like, my brothers in Christ, you're not really meant to be there. You were trucked in 200 years ago by Rule Britannia because we didn't want you. People really want to show up to these little sad divorced dad protest events. They're welcome to. But Australians? White Australians? Really? Follow for more.
I'm sorry. What the fuck is going on in Australia? I mean, I probably just watched the largest white on white crime I have ever seen. But what makes it even crazier is the amount of fucking violence that was just called a protest. And no one's like, what the fuck is going on? Are y'all good? Not only was there like a group of 6,000 plus neo-Nazis attacking, like fist for fist, attacking people who were standing up for Palestine and immigrants, but like the police were also hitting people. Y'all have to see this shit. I am appalled and I need answers. I'm not gonna turn the sound on because it needs no sound. But this is what I'm talking about. So there was like a neo-Nazi protest that clashed with a pro-Palestine. Like they just are going fist for fist, blow for fucking blow. That's not even the worst part. I'm gonna show you the video. There's like a prominent like neo-Nazi person. I guess this guy who's like leading the neo-Nazi rebellion against immigrants. And don't get me started on that scary ass mayor, governor, whoever the fuck was also just on camera saying, don't say that, mate. He was there. And apparently they're all just going around beating up fucking immigrants and aboriginals.
Fucking hell.
This shit is crazy, bro. What the fuck? These are the neo-Nazis, and this is like a pro-Palestine camp, and like a pro-Aboriginal immigration like camp where they're protesting peacefully. And these people just run up and just...
They're here. They've come.
I'm not gonna post the whole video because it gets really bad. Like, you can see the prominent neo-Nazi guy, I don't know his name, I'm gonna do a part 2 on this, who is literally like charging at these people, right? And they're saying that they're against immigration and aboriginals. If you don't know what an aboriginal is, it's an original African settler that was there. And I'll show you an aboriginal going up against these people as well.
You invaded this country, you stole the land, you encouraged genocide. You are the one that had privilege.
Are we seeing the swastika in the back? Like, what the fuck? Australia, are y'all dead ass? What? Like, did we not just see like a mini civil war? And they all look white to me. And for them to be going through the streets attacking people for doing pro-Palestinian movements, I gotta find the other guy because he's so goddamn scary. Watch this shit.
This is the king of Australia. You don't get sustainable.
In Townsville,
Jesus Christ, the king of Australia.
Maverick MP Bob Catter marched in
This is the
support.
scariest thing I've ever
Those
seen in my
people
life.
burning flags and saying gas to the Jews, I want their names. This is our country. They will never rest until it's their country.
In the far north and right across the nation, the so-called patriotic displays a ban on foreign flags, all in the name of restoring Aussie pride.
Mind you, at the same time, on the same day that this is happening, it's also happening in fucking Germany. I can't even I have the videos, I gotta make a part 2, but the same thing is happening in Germany with protests and people getting punched in their fucking mouths by police. By neo-Nazi groups. Yeah, You can't convince me there isn't an underground network of neo-Nazi that communicate. You can't convince me that they didn't plan. This is crazy, and I need off of this entire planet now.
So today in Australia, through most of the cities, protests and counter-protests that are occurring at the same time. Like, why the fuck is that being allowed by the police? But here's the important thing that I wanted to consider. Isn't this like the kind of thing that America or Israel do to people that displease them? Create division and turmoil, create problems. It's like the CIA's handbook of how to destroy an organization from the inside. You break everything, you spread rumors, and you create as much internal division as you can. I have no evidence to suggest this. I haven't even heard anything. It literally is just a thought that popped into my head. That's what these platforms are for, sharing your thoughts with others. Don't want to listen, move on. But I seriously believe there's something fishy about these protests and counter-protests being planned at the same time. I feel as if it was something that the CIA or Mossad would do to a country that was pulling away from their imperialist regime and control. That's what I think. What do you think?
Immediately stop mass immigration into this country, all of it, and stop immigrating votes. That's all he's doing it for. It's a vote scam for Labor, Teals and the Greens, and they're destroying Australia. They call Australians racist for wanting to protest to protect their country, and they call us Nazis if we protest for Australia. They're doing this for hatred and racist against all Australians.
So many in this country, why? Why? And everybody is silent. We can't be silent anymore.
Definitely not.
No.
I agree with you.
One nation is only one option for us to survive in this country. Only one nation. One nation.
We need the people to stand up. Believe in an honest Australia. We don't have honest Australia. There's nothing left. Nothing left to fight for.
Destroying this beautiful country.
I hope that you all
Taking
join
everything
us.
from us.
This beautiful
Enough.
march.
Enough. Stop taking our money.
Hey, we're from the bush. We don't want to return energy.
Has to be done.
Control it yourself.
Just leave us alone to live our life. That's it. No manipulation, no taxes, no nothing. Alba have
All
a
we
house,
want is a
4
fair
million,
government,
5
a
million.
fair life, and
Give us
without
rights,
Parliament,
housing
it's
commission.
no good.
And today he's destroying our
that
kids.
one, mate, that's the main one.
I had enough from this man.
Get rid of Albanese. Get rid of it.
Straight away he needs to go.
It's only causing us nothing but pain and trouble. Nothing but pain and trouble.
He needs to go.
Blaming immigrants on like every problem you have ever had has to be like a uniquely European concept. You ask an American from like bumfuck West Virginia why their state that's been abandoned for like over 50 years sucks and why no one has jobs, and they're like, well, it has to be because there's too many Mexicans around here. You ask a stupid ass Canadian why there's no housing and no jobs in their country, and they're like, well, that's because there's too many Indians, eh? You ask a fucking Brit why they're a reform voter, even though people like Nigel Farage are the reason why the NHS sucks and why Brexit happened, and they'll be like, no, mate, it's not because of that, it's because too many kids are named Mohammed. Then you ask an Australian why their fake country And Australia is a fake country. It's like 5 cities max. You ask them, how does marching with neo-Nazis improve their housing situation or their job situation or anything? And they're like, I don't know, mate. It's just the Aboriginals and the immigrants. They just absorb everything and we got to get them out of here so that Australia can be great. Same shit everywhere. All of these people lack any sense of class consciousness, especially Australians. All it takes is a little bit of brain power to think about why you're mad and being like, well, how does like a poor immigrant affect the entire housing development in my country? It's capitalism. It's private equity that's ruining your country. Australians generally believe that beating up brown kids will somehow equal to, ooh, suddenly I have a house. Suddenly I have a job. Let's say these people get what they want, and then nothing improves. Then what? Are they just gonna turn on each other? Because let's look at like Eastern Europe or Russia. Places that lack a bunch of like, you know, basic necessity. These places suck to live in. There's no minorities there either. Over there, people just sit down and they're like, well, I don't know. Maybe it's the Jews that did this. They just sit down and do nothing. That's what's gonna happen because these people they never want to look at the root of their problems. It's genuinely insane to me.
Enough, gentlemen, enough. No, keep your hands to yourself. Gentlemen, hands to yourself.
Fucking hell. Jesus.
Heaps of people have been assaulted back there. They're going to take off. Go do something about it. Every single one of them. Get Thomas. Get Thomas. Australians and racist fucking bullshit.
Hey, brother. Hey, tell them. They got your drum. They got your drum. They got your drum.
And they smash. Whose drum did they smash? You right, man? Dude, there's so many people got fucking flogged. You need to check them.
Hey guys, Mr. Dude.
Look at him. Look at him. What I tell yous? Do something! Right?
If that was black fellas, you'd be fucking macing us.
Right? Look, they're just walking off like nothing.
Nothing. They fucking assaulted us.
Why? Because we're fucking Aboriginal. No other reason. Look at them run off. Look at them run off. Cowards. Look at them run. Look at them run.
Arrest
Look at them
them.
run. Look at them run.
Where's the SWAT team? No justice, no peace, no racist
Look at them run.
police.
Weak. Weak.
Guys, they know you're not actually fucking come through.
Arrest them all.
Hey? So they were back, they come up.
What's going on?
They come across the road, they come storming up.
Why aren't they being arrested? They assaulted us. They came to incite violence.
Look at him run off.
They ran up the hill, kicked our signs and attacked the women. You hear us, but why aren't you arresting them?
You're not over there, you don't know what's going on. Can you go over to your group over there and just not shout at them through the speaker?
Hey, look, I've reported him.
Can we get any chance we can get a couple of ambulance to come by to see them?
The
guy that has the injuries, not ambulance.
He's not the only one that got an injury. You haven't even checked the camp. There's people got bashed.
Yeah, but you guys are shouting at us to head over there, so we've dealt with over there.
Are you going to go over here then? Why are you being smart to me for? Are you going to send someone to check the other people or not?
Where do you think we were walking? What do you think we're doing?
So go! Why are you stopping here for? There's people. Go away! What? You think you're in a friggin' cop uniform? You can talk to me like shit. Go and help people.
Come over and have it, you
Fuck me dead.
Boom!
Two mass rallies collide in the city centre. Outnumbered and under pressure, police officers caught in the middle. Thousands turning out, despite Premier Jacinta Allen condemning the march, labelling it un-Australian.
So you think
Despite a blockade of police, rival protesters came head to head. The protest, called March for Australia, stormed its way to Parliament House and faced a lineup of the riot squad and police. Amongst the speakers that took to the stage, neo-Nazi leader Thomas Sowell, while others who joined the protest distanced themselves from the extreme views.
I'm not anti-immigration, it's just we're letting too many in at once and people in Australia are struggling.
I mean, there's always going to be that element that's going to take it a little too far, unfortunately. Most of us don't stand with them.
On the other side, a pro-Palestinian rally running for almost 100 straight weeks, also showing support for Australian migrants.
Refugees are welcome! Racists alone!
While also criticising government policies towards asylum seekers.
But what we've seen over the last 3 years is cruelty. Cruelty towards refugees, Palestinians.
Hundreds of police have been stationed in different parts of the city throughout the afternoon, trying to stop protesters from different sides from coming face to face. But tensions escalated at different points. Police using force. Even deploying pepper spray against protesters amid the chaos. The large main group with the anti-immigration march making its way towards counter-protesters on Burke Street, also met with a line of police. Pro-migration protesters criticising officers, two rallies with opposing messages, and a city left divided.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4. We've got millions of free child place holidays available.
This protest had nothing to do with racism, but somehow watching the videos says something else. Sydney March, the front centre and the people leading the march were actual Nazis. You could see Joel Davis at the front of the march with his crew, and some of you were just gullible to just follow these people. In Melbourne, they had signs, racist signs might I add, that said, "Fuck off, we're full." There was aggression, there was violence, there were people being told to go back to where they came from. It's everything that we expected this protest to be. Hateful, no actual substance behind it. No real agenda other than just hate, division, and vibes. Which is honestly so disgusting to see. And it's embarrassing that some of you would associate yourself with people like this, who believes in a Australia that is exclusionary, that only regards, white Australians as Australians, and are completely against the multicultural foundation of this country, which always was, always will be Aboriginal land. You could not spot a person of colour in that crowd.
You invaded this country, you stole the land, you encouraged genocide. You are the one that had privilege from it.
What the fuck?
You're watching Big Press. We're here at Camp Sovereignty, where earlier today a group of neo-Nazis attacked the people who look after Camp Sovereignty on a 24/7 basis, just after the March for Australia protest. Some pretty grim scenes.
Hey, leave her alone. What the fuck are you doing? Stay back! Hey,
Get out of here! Get out of here!
You get the fuck away from me, you slut!
You get the fuck!
We've heard and seen about people here who have been sent to hospital with some pretty gruesome injuries as a result of the assaults that took place here today. We want to demonstrate to people in showing this footage the thing that the Nazis really stand for. I think there's been a massive effort here with this rally to drive recruitment towards the NSN.
What do you think would be the advantage of stopping immigration? We got to protect our destiny.
And it's very easy for them to obscure their true nature and appeal to some kind of common sense Australian values thing.
The National Socialist Network, a neo-Nazi group, just rocked up to this Patriot event. How does that make you feel?
Well, I don't know. I think there's good and bad in what they're doing. I think some of it's good, some of it's bad.
When in reality, all they stand for is violence and division, and there's some truly nasty pasties.
What are you going to do, Rich?
We've heard from eyewitness accounts, people who were actually here when the Nazis stormed Camp Sovereignty, that the police didn't rock up until after the Nazis got kicked off and out of here, and certainly didn't seem as though the police had any interest in actually following up on any of the assaults that took place here today, but I suppose that's a matter for time to tell. We just want it to be incredibly crystal clear that marching alongside these people means that you're in agreement with them, and if you're in agreement with this, you're a fuckhead.
Government's supposed to work for us, the people. We don't want half the shit that they're got going on, so we're making a stand today to make things right. Because our value work for us, mate, and you've got to go.
And what do you think happens out of this protest? What do you hope to achieve?
They just let everyone know that the Australians are fed up. They've got to bow down to everyone else.
Australia, we are here!
The motivation to be part of the declaration by the citizens of Australia that they're absolutely opposed to mass migration and to how the government, who only has 34% of the votes, is treating its citizens. It's violating human rights of Australians, and they're not accountable. They're not accountable for their actions.
The migrants who came to Australia, particularly in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and even into the 80s, that was a success story. The Europeans came under a policy of assimilation. Everyone was told you have to assimilate into the prevailing culture. No notion of multiculturalism. When the Europeans came here, they had a kind of underlying sense of Europeanness.
It's basically trying to make excuses. It works because they looked like you and they are you, and you set up the system so it will work for you. You didn't assimilate or try to fit in with the indigenous culture, did you? Now we bring a greater context. He's saying immigration worked back in the day. One's coming here now, Indians, Asians, Oriental, doesn't work. They're different and we need to stop that. Well, let's hold you to the same standard. Why do you get to say they can't come, considering that you didn't try to fit into someone else's culture? And the only answer you can say is, I don't care, I had enough power, I want to take it, and that's what I do. If you don't say that, then you're gaslighting and lying to us. You can fluff around it however he wants, he can try to tiptoe around the scenario, but that's what he's saying at the end of the day. I want it to be this way, and my way is right because it's my philosophy. This is very hateful talk.
Indigenous Australians, also known as, had a population of between 300 and 700,000 by modern estimates. Early contacts with these tribes were as often peaceful as they were violent. It is thought that these groups arrived in two stages. The first was from the Indian subcontinent via a land bridge that connected Australia to the island of New Guinea, bringing with them the Pama-Nyungan language family. The second wave was much later and may have been groups related to the Austronesians of Indonesia. Their culture and history was preserved through the oral tradition. The Dutch named the island New Holland after the county of Holland in the Netherlands, but it wasn't until the British landed on the east coast and named it New South Wales that Europeans began to settle. Landing in Port Jackson on the 26th of January 1788, hey, that's today, the so-called First Fleet arrived to found the colony of Sydney, with the intention of using the labour of prisoners to achieve wealth for Britain. However, contrary to Australia's convict founding myth, less than half of this First Fleet were actually convicts. In the 1800s, Australia was circumnavigated, mapped, and new colonies started springing up all over. Hobart, Newcastle, Launceston, Port Macquarie, Brisbane and Melbourne, with dozens of penal centres. Adelaide and Perth were founded as free settlement cities, but the latter was made into a penal colony after it failed to grow naturally. As the Europeans expanded, the frontier wars began with the Aboriginals, many of whom were hostile to the foreign invaders. Most famously, the Black War of Tasmania, which nearly wiped out the indigenous Tasmanians. But far more destructive to the Aboriginals was smallpox, which killed tens of thousands.
When people talk about Australia, they love to highlight the beaches, the accents, the kangaroos. But you rarely hear them talk about the blood beneath the soil. Because Australia is just like the US. It wasn't discovered. It was invaded. And the first thing they tried to do was wipe the oldest living culture off the face of the earth. So let's back up for a second. The Aboriginal people of Australia have been on that continent for 65,000 years. Let that sit. They are the oldest continuous culture on Earth. Not only did they live in harmony with the land, they had complex languages, spiritual systems, astronomy, trade, and none of it was savage or primitive. But when the British showed up in 1788, they saw none of that. They saw a land they wanted and people they thought didn't count. So they claimed the land as nobody's land, like people weren't already living there. And what followed was centuries of massacre, displacement, slavery, and dehumanization. Aboriginal people were hunted like animals. Entire tribes were wiped out. Their water sources were poisoned. Children were taken. Women were assaulted. Men were imprisoned. Sometimes for just being Aboriginal. Their language banned. Their cultural practices outlawed. Their sacred land stolen. They weren't even considered full citizens on their land until 1967. Let me repeat that. The original custodians of that land weren't counted as people until less than 60 years ago. And from the late 1800s to the 1970s, the government had a plan to breed out the black. That's not an exaggeration. That's what they actually called it. They took thousands of Aboriginal children from their families, the stolen generation, and placed them in white homes or church institutions. Sound familiar? They erased their names, told them their families didn't want them. And when those children cried for their mothers, nobody came. Because colonialism isn't just about land. It's about memory. And they were trying to erase it all. So when you hear people talk about Australia like it's just another Western paradise, know this. There's blood in the soil and trauma in the air. And the world is still catching up to the truth. Because Aboriginal people didn't just survive genocide. They preserved the oldest culture on the planet through it. And that's resistance. That's legacy. That's a miracle that colonizers couldn't kill, no matter how hard they tried.
What's a historical fact that you had to learn on your own and not in?
Colonization in Australia was 100 times worse than what the books in our schools depicts it to be. Whilst I learn about the Australian history, they never once mention about the genocide, the assimilation, the enslavement, or the inhumane living condition they subjected the indigenous people of these countries that they colonized to be subjected to. If anything, they glamorize the concept of colonization and empower it that it was needed because the British Empire needed to thrive. But if anything, the Australian history is exactly the same. The First Fleet indeed arrived on the coastal region of the Australian island, where Cook and his counterpart assessed and concluded that Indigenous people only resided on the coastal areas of the Australian island. So the history of Australia stated that the First Fleet arrived in Sydney, where they were met with some resistance, and then after that it was just so hard for Indigenous people to integrate with white Europeans, hence why there was a lot of wars and unnecessary deaths that took place, which again they played off like they were not responsible for it. If anything, they leave out the part that how they arrived on the coastal region of Sydney when the First Fleet landed. They specifically came down with weapons to kill, because obviously they assumed that Indigenous people would only be able to reside on the coastal areas of the Australian island, where they soon to find out that that was not the case. If anything, Indigenous people actually resided more inland, which was something that they were not ready for. And hence why it took them almost 100 years to try and fully remove Indigenous people from Australia, which again, they've never been able to succeed. And what led through those years was inhumane treatment of Indigenous people, which resulted in programs to try and assimilate them, destroy their language, destroy their lineage, and destroy their culture, and destroy their presence on the Australian soil. And let's not forget, when the massacre and the genocide stopped, they put structures that systemically would depopulate Indigenous people of Australia, which again, a lot of schools don't teach it because apparently it's very morbid, but again, that's the real history of this country. These parts and version of history, you're not going to find it in your school because again, it's considered not educationally appropriate, when again, that's the real history of this country.
My name's Doreen. I'm from Wallara. I live in town. Alice Spring? Yeah, my hometown. Hello, my name is everybody. My name is Janet. I'm from Wallara as well, but I live in Sydney now. But I come here and visit my family. We're ready to go home. I think tomorrow with Caprice to get bush tucker. And we're gonna go Kangaroo Dale out there and show Caprice some bush tucker and tell stories. And with different plants that grows around there and other stuff that we see.